In the top stories, St. Kitts Tourism Authority attends Kappa Airline Leader Summit. British Royal Navy seizes £40 million in cocaine in the Caribbean Sea. And sewage crisis in Gaza raises fears of widespread disease amid ongoing conflict. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, August 26, 2024. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. Nationally, the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, or SKTA, was present at the Kappa Airline Leader Summit Latin America held in Trinidad and Tobago last week. Attended by CEO Kelly Fontenelle and Deputy CEO Melnesia Marshall, the two-day event has been known for providing valuable market intelligence in the aviation and travel industries. In an update on the Kittitian Heartbeat Facebook page, it was noted that, quote, during the event, the team held meetings with representatives from Caribbean Airlines, Cape Air, and Sunrise Airways to discuss potential collaborations. These discussions are expected to strengthen our partnerships and enhance air connectivity to St. Kitts, end quote. Held in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago from the 22nd to the 23rd of August 2024, the Kappa Airline Leader Summit Latin America is set to provide attendees with a unique window and informed content examining the future of aviation in Latin America and the Caribbean. The event was attended by hundreds of executives and other leaders from across the local and international travel and tourism sectors. Technology is a tool that could be used for good or evil. And according to opposition leader, the Honorable Mark Brantley, it's a gateway for all types of information. Because of this, he thinks it imperative that steps be taken to shield the nation's youth.
They are excellent because they can provide education. And like most things, we can use them for good or we can use them for bad. And I am just concerned that St. Kitts Nevis has one of the highest penetrations in the region, as we know, of cell phones and coverage. And from our very youngest have access. It's like putting a bomb in a child's hand. They can see and hear and watch everything. And so sometimes we as public officials in the schools, yes, we're teaching and we're saying, learn to say the Our Father prayer and all of that. But when they go on break, when they go on whatever, they have access to these gadgets. Now, I have just seen that in the United States they're introducing a ban on cell phones in the schools. Meaning that during school hours, children are not allowed to have cell phones. I am saying that these are the types of ideas. I'm not saying that we need to necessarily adopt everything. But these are the types of ideas we may want to start to look at to determine whether or not it is time for us to take some kind of remedial action.
He suggested restricting access to some sites, especially on the school compound during school hours. Premier Brantley also raised concerns about the type of content allowed on local radio stations. He called for stricter enforcement of broadcast regulations and legislative amendments where necessary.
Prime Minister, I listen to the radio stations from time to time. And I recall that there was a point in St. Kitts and Nevis where we had, I'm not sure what the name is, but we had some kind of entity that monitored content on these radio stations. And there used to be songs when they play. You hear bleep or you hear something, it's censored, that's the word. It looked to me like the committee not working anymore. The broadcast standards are no more. Because I'm listening to some radio station and the language and the lyrics and everything coming through. The DJs are shouting out the most outrageous things as they're playing this music, and it seems like there are no consequences. It is not, to my mind, good that these influences are part of our public consumption, especially when we have laws, regulations in place to deal with some of these matters. And I think that if we start to take some of those steps, we need new legislation, yes, to deal with various things, but if we start to take some steps where we enforce what we currently have, I believe that that could be helpful.
That was opposition leader and Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. Deandra Dottin's composed power hitting guided Trinbago Knight Riders to a thrilling super over victory against Guyana Amazon Warriors in the 2024 Massey Women's Caribbean Premier League, or WCPL, at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Tarouba, Trinidad. Facing elimination, the Knight Riders secured their first points of the tournament, keeping their hopes alive with a nerve-wracking win. Both teams ended their 20 overs with 128 runs, setting the stage for a dramatic finish. Dottin led the Knight Riders' innings with a crucial 53 off 38 balls. Despite a mid-innings wobble, valuable contributions from Shika Pandey with 25 and Kaisia Knight with 16 helped the team post a competitive total. The Warriors appeared to have the chase under control, with Erin Burns scoring her second consecutive 50, supported by Shemaine Campbell. However, needing just 19 runs from the final 3 overs, 2 late runouts of Burns and Chloe Tryon derailed their momentum, pushing the match into a super over. In the super over, Shabnim Ismail, who impressed with 2 for 24 during the match, bowled for the Warriors. Dottin took charge, smashing 2 massive sixes off the first 3 deliveries, the second of which sent her to her knees as she cleared the boundary on the leg side. Jemima Rodriguez added a boundary with a classy cover drive, helping the Knight Riders score an imposing 19 runs. The Warriors' reply faltered immediately. Jess Jonassen, who had been economical all evening, bowled the super over for the Knight Riders. Tryon was run out on the first ball, and Burns followed, caught by Dottin in the covers. Campbell and Natasha McLean were left to see out the final deliveries, but the target was too steep. Responding to questions posed by reporters after the game, captain of the Trinbago Knight Riders, Deandra Dottin, said she was proud of what her team was able to accomplish.
To be honest, I'm very happy that I could contribute for the team, being a leader and being at the top. I mean, I take on that role in order to back through the innings and so that we can end up with a decent total on the board. As far as I know, I don't think I've ever lost a super over. But, I mean, it's just a matter of knowing where you want to hit the ball. Ishmael is a very good bowler. So, I mean, like, I faced her before in a super over, so I kind of know how she thinks. So that was the advantage that I had.
Meanwhile, Lauren Winneld Hill, captain of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, said despite the loss, she is proud of her team.
Still a really good side. Every game that we've gone to a super over and we've lost, by 1 run essentially. So the games we've lost, we've gone very tight with, which shows that we're a really good side. And that's not going to change overnight between now and tomorrow. So it's just about coming and putting in another good performance tomorrow. I think we've put in a good performance there tonight. We just haven't got on the right end of a result.
The Guyana Amazon Warriors will face off against the Barbados Royals in Game 5 of the Women's CPL in Trinidad today. After the break, Barbados to host 2025 CBU General Conference. Regional News is next. Stay with us.
So get up and unite.
The CPL is back for 2024. And the St. Lucia Kings are hunting for their first title. This year, it will be the best ever CPL, with global superstars, massive sixes, and incredible entertainment at the biggest party in sport. Get your tickets now at cplt20.com.
We move now to news on the regional scene. The British Royal Navy has delivered a significant blow to the Caribbean cocaine trade, announcing on Sunday that its patrol ship, HMS Trent, seized over £40 million worth of cocaine in the Caribbean Sea. This marks the ship's 6th successful drug interception this year, bringing the total value of drugs seized by HMS Trent in 2024 to an impressive £551.5 million. Minister for the Armed Forces Luke Pollard highlighted the importance of this operation, stating, quote, "This recent operation underscores the Royal Navy's crucial role in maintaining maritime security and enforcing international law in the region. We are sending a clear message to drug traffickers that no place is safe, and we will relentlessly disrupt and dismantle their operations wherever they may be," end quote. The latest operation took place earlier this month when HMS Trent was alerted to a suspicious speedboat approximately 120 nautical miles south of the Dominican Republic. The Royal Navy, supported by a U.S. Maritime Patrol aircraft, quickly closed in on the vessel despite the smugglers' attempt to discard their cargo overboard. The swift action of the Royal Marines and U.S. Coast Guard ensured that all 506 kilograms of Class A narcotics were recovered. 3 smugglers were apprehended and handed over to U.S. authorities for prosecution. HMS Trent's commanding officer Tim Langford praised the efforts of his crew, saying, quote, This successful operation, conducted alongside our American partners, demonstrates HMS Trent's capability to support counter-narcotic efforts in the Caribbean Sea. Every member of my team can take pride in another significant haul, our 6th this year," end quote. The Royal Navy emphasized that these interceptions not only disrupt transnational criminal organizations, but also reaffirm the Navy's vital role in safeguarding maritime security and upholding international law, both domestically and internationally. Barbados has been selected to host the 56th Annual General Assembly of the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, or CBU, from August 18th to 21st, 2025. The event, themed "The Media and the Caribbean Arts and Culture," was announced during the CBU's 55th Assembly held at Placencia, Belize, under the theme "Media and the Environment." Anthony Green, General Manager of Starcom Network, has been appointed as the chair of the local organizing committee for the upcoming assembly. Other members of the committee include representatives from the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, the Barbados Government Information Service, and UWI TV, which is headquartered at the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies. During the 55th Assembly, Caribbean media executives, regulators, and educators emphasized the importance of prioritizing climate change coverage and adopting resilient operational practices within the region's media. With strong support from Belize's Prime Minister, Honorable John Briceño, and CARICOM's Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett, the region's media pledged to ensure that climate change remains at the forefront of their agendas. A key resolution passed during the plenary session called for CBU members to integrate environmental threats into their regular programming, similar to how news, sports, business, and weather content are featured. We move to news internationally. The Mediterranean coastline of Gaza is turning brown as open sewage spreads, raising health concerns. Satellite images analyzed by BBC Arabic reveal a significant sewage spill off the coast of Deir al-Bala, linked to overcrowded camps where displaced residents are diverting sewage into the sea. The collapse of Gaza's wastewater management infrastructure, worsened by Israeli bombardment, has led to a growing environmental crisis. Despite claims by Israel's defense ministry that efforts have been made to improve Gaza's sewage system, independent verification is not possible. Health experts warn of a potential outbreak of waterborne diseases, including polio, after a 10-month-old baby became partially paralyzed, the first polio case in Gaza in 25 years. The charity Oxfam reports that a quarter of Gaza's population has already fallen ill due to contaminated water. The crisis is further exacerbated by the contamination of the Sheikh Radwan Lagoon, once a source of clean rainwater, now overflowing with sewage. With the vast majority of Gaza's 2.3 million residents displaced, the region faces a growing health catastrophe amid ongoing conflict and deteriorating infrastructure. Meanwhile, one of Gaza's last functioning hospitals is emptying as Israel orders evacuations in the area, hinting at a potential ground offensive in Deir al-Balah, a town that has mostly been spared in the ongoing conflict. The Al-Qasa Martyrs Hospital, which serves central Gaza, hasn't been ordered to evacuate, but fear of being caught in the crossfire is driving patients and others to flee. Associated Press reporters observed people leaving the hospital on foot, pushing patients on stretchers and carrying belongings as they head to overcrowded coastal camps. The Israeli military, targeting Hamas infrastructure in the area, insists that the evacuation orders do not include hospitals. However, the war, which began on October 7th, has already killed over 40,000 Palestinians, severely damaged Gaza's infrastructure, and left only 16 of its 36 hospitals partially functional. The humanitarian crisis is deepening with widespread disease and hunger. And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy. Winds are a light breeze from the north-northeast at 6 miles per hour. The temperature for today is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1 to 1.2 meters or 3 to 4 feet. The weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis predicts partly cloudy skies with a 40% or a moderate chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a 20% or a slight chance of showers. Sunset for today will be at 6:29 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:56 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.